Hello everybody. Well, I got another one right here to show you. Um, it's kind of a good one. I don't know if people really try to collect Daiwas. I got a Daiwa right here also, upon the many other reels that I've got. But this is something that was kind of cool. It was actually a project that I got. This is a DAIWA Procaster. It's a PR733 with a reel with a 7.1 to 1 gear ratio. Pretty fast. I mean, we all seen the new ones out. This one came out, I think, in the mid 80s or late or maybe early 90s. But this was something that I just happened to stumble on, and I picked it up. Here you go. It's got the flipping switch. It's flipping there, and then it says casting. It's kind of hard to read if I can get the light to go in there, but it says casting and then flipping. But on casting is your normal operation. Back in that day, they called it the tournament performance clutch. It's just a mechanism to release. But this was something that I managed to turn it into a project because the ball bearings were kind of seized up on it. I picked it up for like a couple dollars, and then I found some replacement ball bearings. Went with a ceramic style, and decided to put them in, and cleaned everything up. And man, I mean, it works like it's brand new. I mean, you're gonna get a little bit of vibration when you cast. They're pretty precise, but they're not as smooth as today's reels that you buy out in the market, you know, like your new Abus or your Quantums or Shimano, Daiwa, Luz, the all the in-house brands like Gander Mountain, Bass Pro Shops, all them guys. I mean, all that new stuff, it's made with a higher precision machines than what it was in the 90s. I mean, but it's still really good. I mean, one thing I can say is these things are tough. I mean, this one was also was made in Japan, and this one's been through a lot of abuse, and I gotta say that, man, I have really put this thing through the ringer. I've dropped it, stepped on it, everything on a boat while I was fishing, and it has stood the test of time. There is no doubt about that. But it was a I was trying to find a different brand. There was one called a PT33T, I think, was a 5-ball bearing system reel that Daiwa made back then also. I think it was a little bit later, like in the early 90s. But this one only had bearings that support on the ends of the spools, and then that was it. I don't think there was one where the handle was at right here, where your main where the shaft's at, where it goes on to where your main crank gear's at. But which is one thing that was kind of cool is they actually started out with these little knobs. You know, this is so you can actually clean and service it, and you unscrew these. They were just finger tight, and you slide that off like that. And right there is this is your mechanism, your housing for your magnetic brake control, and in here is where your cast control sits at inside. But here's the bearing that I replaced. Pretty easy to do, but this spool just kind of comes out like this, and then there you have it. There's another bearing support right here where your other end goes on the other. And here's the shaft where the spool feeds into the housing. Really simple system. You know, I know, like, when you guys, like, not me, but I know when some people say, hey man, you know, I want to try to learn how to buy a baitcaster reel. I tell them, well, why don't you just go on eBay and pick one of these guys up, man. I mean, they're pretty tough. You find one that's in decent shape, and I told them that, you know, I told some of the guys, I go, why don't you just go get one, and I can get you some ball bearings, redo it for you, and it'll be pretty nice. And because some people, like I said, it takes practice to get good at something like this. You don't, it takes a lot of practice. Cast control, they work, but not as good as the ones today, you know, because nowadays you get the ones with the magnet and you get a centrifugal brake system inside of it. You get the best of both. This is just strictly magnet, and then of course you can turn your tension knob right here, you know, to kind of control. But it's very, very, very like, I mean, we're talking like just fractions of a movement, and if you go too tight, then you're going to shorten your cast. But as opposed to the new ones today, where you know you can turn the new ones today and it doesn't affect it too much. I mean, you have to really kind of get them tight, and it'll really shorten your cast. Or you know, or if you're casting into the wind or whatever, you can adjust for the conditions that you're at. But I mean, like I said, you can find something like this. A 7-to-1 ratio is just way, I think it's just too fast for a lot of the type of fishing that I do. I mean, if I'm just buzzing spinner baits or something fast over the water, I'll go with a 7 ratio reel. To me, I think like 6.5 or 6.4. To me, that seems kind of like a sweet spot. There's faster ones out there than this one today, but I think the 6 ratio ones, 6-to-1 or 6.4 or something like that, 6.5. That seems like a sweet spot. But 7-to-1 is not bad. It just depends on the type of fishing you're doing. And now, if you're going to be like flipping in the weeds and everything, and you're using let's say you're using 17-pound test. Some people use 20-pound test, but where I'm at out here, I mean, we don't have a lot of reeds up here. I'm way up north here in Michigan, and the weeds get kind of high, but I mean, I think the best you can get away with 8, sometimes 10. I usually use 12-pound test when I'm out here because I'm on a lot of open water, which kind of makes it nice too if you're fishing deep. But when I go down south and fish, and I know there's a lot of heavy cover out there, I'll bump it up to 14, even 17-pound test. Usually 17 for me is a good spot, like especially in Texas. I usually kind of go with 17 or 14 sometimes, depending on the type of waters you're going to be at. But anyways, but this is it. This is the Procaster PR733 DAIWA. Pretty good reel. I can't complain. This is this is my first DAIWA that I ever bought, and it was a used one, and I gotta admit, it is a good reel. I mean, it functions as it should, and it's got the extra little features like the flipping and magnetic cast control that people are looking for, you know. It ain't like today's reels, how the foot sits kind of sits higher up onto the frame, and the spool sits a little more forward. It's designed so that this sits at a lower profile, but that's just how they were. I mean, you can see the way the profile of the foot is. I mean, it sits, I mean, like directly, like flat to the bottom. And so when it sits on your pole, it definitely sits. It looks like it's high up on there. It is high because it's just the way it's mounted. But pretty cool reel. But like I said, I'll be making a lot of videos. I got a bunch of old stuff out here that I just wanted to kind of show some people. I don't know if some collectors out there, they like to collect these things, and some people just look at doing whatever. But I figured I've got nothing to do right now, so on my off time I just kind of make these little videos, and this is like only my second video, so I am not any good at doing like these nice videos where you have intros and everything, but I'm trying to make it straight and sweet, and I don't got that's all it is. So but there you go, there you have it. If you got any questions, you can always shoot me a message on the video comments or whatever, and I can do what I can to answer them and everything. But hey, thanks for watching, guys. All right, have a good night.